Hi, my name is Shannon Moore and I'm the training coordinator at the FASD Network of Saskatchewan, and I'm also the mom to a beautiful 10-year-old daughter who has FASD. This past week, we recently hosted a question and answer event to help celebrate FASD Awareness Day, which is on September 9th every year. We held an event where we had 4 panelists, 2 moms who had children with FASD and 2 individuals who live with FASD, and they answered a range of questions. Now we're going to continue on with some of those questions we didn't get to that evening, and as well as if anyone has any other questions that they would like answered, please feel free to post on our Facebook page. So one of the questions that we didn't get a chance to answer on September 7th was, how can society start moving away from the stigma and the blame and shame associated with FASD? And I think how we do this is we have to spread awareness and understanding, but in a positive format. We have to talk about FASD for what it really is, and we have to start celebrating individuals who are impacted by FASD. And, I always say shame and blame has no positive purpose in the world of FASD. It just creates negative misconceptions and stereotypes that just, add to the stigma. And so I think bringing awareness and understanding, and most importantly education as to why FASD happens. There's so many reasons why alcohol is used during pregnancy. So many people think it's just people with addictions, and it's not. FASD is a community concern. Lots of times people don't know the minute they're pregnant. They could be dealing with mental health issues or trauma, or they could potentially have addictions. But it just can't fall solely on the shoulders of females or moms. We have to start looking, like I said, as FASD as a community concern, and realizing that FASD doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter who we are or what our ethnic background is. We're all at risk of having a baby that's impacted by FASD. Our next question that we received was, what have been some strategies to help support your child with memory deficits? My daughter, memory deficits is one of the ways I would say she's the most significantly impacted. Her short-term memory is really good, but her delayed memory definitely presents some challenges. But what we try to do in our house is really just normalize it. I talk to my daughter that I'm forgetful as well. Her dad's forgetful, grandma's forgetful, everyone's forgetful. So we talk about ways in which we can help each other out. We make lists. We write stuff down. There's lots of communication between us and the school to help with those deficits, and I'm sure as she gets older there'll be a lot of advocating for people to work a little bit differently with her. Maybe instead of having to do a book report at the end of a book, she can do it after every couple chapters, a mini little report, because we know by the time she gets to the end of the book she's definitely going to forget pieces. But I think the biggest thing is we don't penalize her for her memory deficits. It's not something she can control. It's not something she's going to outgrow. So as she grows, we'll use technology to help us deal with her memory deficits as well. But I think the biggest thing is normalizing it, and she's the first one to say that she's super forgetful, and then we say, well, what can we do about that? So like I said, we'll make lists and have conversations, and like I said, just don't get hung up that it's in the deficits, and see it for what it is and normalize it. And I think that way we can move forward in a positive way. And our last question for today is, what strategies to use to keep yourself moving forward and positive? I'm hopeful. I'm definitely an incredibly hopeful parent. I always say in the world of FASD, we kind of live each day. I don't worry about the future. I don't worry about, next week. I worry about today and tomorrow. And when we get through those days, we deal with that. And just really, like I've said prior, is just to really normalize FASD. Everyone in this world has challenges. Individuals with FASD have challenges as well, but we need to have open and honest conversations about them. And FASD will never define anyone. I always tell my daughter, she's a person and a person first, and she gets to tell the world who she is, and her disability will never define who she is. So I believe in being hopeful, find positivity even in those situations that are trying. There's always a positive piece that can be found, and that's something we work hard on, is not to always seeing deficits as deficits, but maybe as strengths instead.